So your band is playing live, your breakdown hits, and the crowd just stares at you. Worst feeling in the world. This is for hardcore, metalcore, and deathcore bands that want literal chaos when their breakdown drops. I'm going to give you 5 specific breakdown tweaks that you can steal today, so people are spin kicking and air punching instead of standing there watching you holding their drink. Who brings a drink into the pit anyway? Now, I've worked with a ton of heavy bands, and the difference between a meh breakdown and one that actually moves the pit is never an accident. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set up the breakdown so the crowd feels it coming, write something that doesn't sound like every other band, choose the right tempo so it actually feels heavy, use live tracks like sub drops to make it hit harder, and make your band look believable on stage so the crowd actually follows you in the pit. And make sure you stick around for that last one because it's by far the most important. So take some notes and start thinking about your best breakdown as we go, because I'm sure you're going to find at least one thing that you could fix today. All right, first thing, your breakdown actually starts before the breakdown. And if you get this part right, it can absolutely transform what happens next. And I could sum this up in 2 words. Arf, arf. The riff, vocal line, or drum fill leading into it has to make people feel like something nasty's about to drop. If the setup is weak or confusing, the crowd doesn't get that, oh here it comes moment, and then they just stand there watching you. If you want your breakdown to hit to its maximum potential, you have to properly set it up. And by the way, I'm curious, what's your favorite breakdown of all time? Let me know in the comments below. Think about it, across music in general, if you want something to hit hard or stand out, you need contrast. If you want your thrash song to sound extra fast, put it after a slow song on the record. If you want your clean vocals to really pop in the chorus, put a radio filter on them in the pre-chorus. The breakdowns that hit hardest always have something just before it drops that add that explosion that turns a lazy crowd into a circle pit. Tip number 2, stop writing copy-paste breakdowns. Your breakdown can't sound like every other band's on the bill. If you're just chugging the same open note pattern that you've heard 1,000 times, nobody feels the need to move. They've already heard it. Here's a few hacks to get creative with this. Experiment during pre-production. Before you record the song, change the riff, experiment with the kick pattern, switch to a dissonant chord. Another really good hack is to just listen to the world around you. You may hear a really interesting rhythm in a different type of music while you're online at a store or watching a movie. You may drop a cup in the kitchen and get an idea for an interesting kick pattern. Or something like this can happen. Which I haven't written yet, but... Wait, I just got an idea. The point is, your breakdown has to be heavy and awesome, but if it's unique, bodies will fly. And real quick before we get to the next tip, I have a free gift for you guys. It's the Axe Tracking Blueprint, which is my personal guide to recording pro quality guitar tracks at home. There's a link in the description, go grab it if you're interested, and again, it's absolutely free. Enjoy. Okay, tip number 3, choose the right tempo. This may seem obvious, but just because your song is locked into one speed, doesn't mean your breakdown needs to follow it. Sure, it could work at the same tempo, but changing it up will give you that contrast that we talked about before and make your breakdown explode. Now look, most of the time, that's going to mean to slow it down. I mean, I'm sure you've heard a breakdown that just completely slammed on the brakes and blew your mind with how brutal it sounded. As a matter of fact, let me know in the comments below, what's the heaviest breakdown you've ever heard? Okay, so I have a really easy way to work this out for your band. The next time you're at rehearsal, play your song 3 or 4 times and record it with your phone. And when you get to the breakdown, play it at a different tempo every time. When you listen back, it should be crystal clear what the right tempo is. Lock in your tempo, and when you play your breakdown live, the pit will move. Okay, tip number 4 is a little bit more high tech, but it can be an absolute silver bullet for making your breakdown hit live. Triggering a sub drop. Don't sleep on sub drops. When that low end boom hits right as the breakdown lands, the whole room feels it in their chest. Let me show you how to set up and trigger sub drops live, so they're tight with your drummer and actually enhance the moment instead of just being noise. Set a member of your band up with a device to trigger the sub drop. You can use a pedal if it's your bassist or guitar player, or a drum pad if it's your drummer. Run the device that the sample will play through to whoever's running sound for the gig. It's that simple. And not many local bands are doing this. So if you make this move, it'll definitely help you stand out from the rest of the bands on the bill. All right, tip number 5, be believable on stage. Guys, none of this other stuff matters if you don't sell it live. If you don't look like you feel your own breakdown, the crowd won't either. Talk about this in advance with your band. Practice it at rehearsal. Jump, stomp the ground, or my personal favorite, headbang in unison. Slipknot's one of the biggest bands in the world, and they've been doing this since they started, and it's one of the reasons they got an instant reaction from crowds ever since the beginning. This is psychology here. People want to belong. They want to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. If every member of your band is banging their head during your breakdown, that's going to tug on those emotional strings, and you're much more likely to get a reaction from the crowd. So here's the thing. It's not about writing some impossibly technical riff. One solid riff with a great groove. And when you set it up right, pick the right tempo, hit it with subs, and sell it on stage, your next show will go from gentle head bobs to the whole room is trying to kill each other, in the way we all know and love. Now, if you want your guitar tone to actually keep up with breakdowns like that, watch that video next. That's where we dial in the sound to match the chaos. I'll see you there.